Welcome to the Super Sentai Brothers. This is episode 16 of A View to a Kakuranger, the internet's best and only podcast dedicated to Ninja Sentai Kakuranger. Every week we watch an episode of the show and we share our thoughts with you, the listeners. My name is Matt J. With me as always is my co-host and brother Dave. Dave, how are you doing today?
I'm fine. How are you doing today, Matt?
Oh, I'm doing okay. You and the listening audience may have picked up on the fact that my voice is a little different today. Part of the reason that we did not have an episode last week is that I got sick. And so what you are hearing now is the remains of my voice from when I was sick. If I try to go too much above this particular register, it starts to crack and fall apart pretty easily. So I'm just going to keep it low and slow this whole episode. So I'm not going to lie, Matt. So you and I were hanging out yesterday and playing video, just not playing video games. Sorry, playing board games. And we were talking and you sounded like this. And it was fine. But now I have you on headphones. Yeah. And it's a very different and slightly uncomfortable experience. I'm not going to lie. Well, Dave, I can only hope that our listeners do not feel uncomfortable with this. Otherwise, this will have been a waste of 2 hours.
So, Matt, what episode are we watching this week?
Dave, this week we are watching episode 16 of Ninja Sentai Kakuranger. It is called The Red Monkey's Oni Extermination. But before we get into that, Dave, shining in the heavens, as always, there are 5 stars. What is our first star of the week?
So our first star of the week, Matt, is actually maybe closer to a public service announcement.
All right.
So I was driving on the highway the other day, and there was a sign, a big sign, a billboard. So it was a billboard. Sorry,
yeah, that's what they call those.
Yeah. It was a billboard, and it had cans of Milwaukee's Best.
Sure.
On it. And I guess there's 3 different versions. I don't know. I don't drink the Beast. But what this billboard was not advertising Milwaukee's Best. It assumes that you already know that Milwaukee's Best exists. What this billboard was advertising, Matt, is that Milwaukee's Best is now sold at 6.9% alcohol.
Wow, that seems irresponsible.
Milwaukee's Best beer is now almost 14 proof. That's insane.
I remember I once saw recently, within the last few years, a Milwaukee's Best Ice billboard that was bragging about the fact that when you bought a case of them, the cans were not 12 ounces, they were 13 ounces, so you got 1 free ounce per can.
Well, if you bought a case at 24, that's 2 free beers.
I know.
Effectively.
And if you consider the fact that it is now being sold at 6.9% alcohol,
guys,
that's your one-stop shop right there.
Someone's gonna die. You can't. Okay, because here's the deal: the people who drink listen. I'm not saying I've never drank Milwaukee's Best. I've drank Milwaukee's Best. It's not good beer. Those weren't great moments in my life, but I've done it. So I don't have a whole lot of space to throw shade if you are a person who's drinking Milwaukee's Best.
Sure. I'm right there with you.
But I would say, as a generalized rule, the people who are drinking Milwaukee's Best on the regular, they just don't do that to them.
Yeah.
Don't turn that into a... You don't need to be drunk faster if you're already a dude who's drinking Milwaukee's Best. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, because here's the thing about Milwaukee's Best. Is no one's buying, a chill 6-pack of Milwaukee's Best to enjoy, sitting around after dinner with good friends while you're playing, a board game.
Nobody does that. That's not a thing that happens.
Nobody grabs one of those to bring to a dinner party. If you're buying Milwaukee's Best, it's because you're planning to drink 100 cans of Milwaukee's Best. And you should not do that. First
should
of all,
never
man,
do
just
that.
Don't. But second of all, especially don't if it is now 6.9% alcohol. This is we are recording this on New Year's Eve day. It is December the 31st. So you won't hear it, but in time. But just in case you were planning to have some New Year's plans that involved drinking 100 cans of Milwaukee's Best Ice.
Don't do that thing.
This is our message to you. No, man.
Don't
chill.
just don't do that. That's not cool. So, Matt, what is our second star of the week?
Well, second star of the week is, as I alluded to earlier, and of course listeners will be aware, we did not have an episode last week. Because it was Christmas and we were busy and I was sick and all that other stuff. But what I want to talk about right now specifically is Christmas. Christmas was wonderful. Our family was there. Your in-laws were all in town as well. So we had a big joint thing. And we got a bunch of Christmas presents and it was lovely.
Yeah, it was super cool. Matt got me a new bit for my router, which is totally awesome. It is like a super professional version of this thing, and it's probably just like way fancier than I need it to be. Like this thing is it's too good for me, if that makes sense.
Well, you'll grow into it.
I'm outstripped by this tool, but I am excited to have it.
And then Dave and Beth got me a what is it, like a 10 by 12 plaque?
I'd say it's about.
Yeah, it's about a 10 by 12 plaque that Beth has carved with the image of the Eye of Agamotto in a very fancy way. It's very cool. I am looking to, once it gets sort of stained and whatnot, getting it up in my apartment. It's you know what it is it's just exactly on that edge between, like, if you know that it's the Eye of Agamotto and you see it, you're like, oh, that's fun. But if you don't know that and you just see it in someone's apartment, you're like, oh, that's like a fun piece of like carved folk art.
That is what I hope people think. Like, if you don't already know what the Eye of Agamotto is, our hope was that you would see this thing and you would think exactly what you said. Matt, that's a fun piece of folk art. What I am like low-key concerned about is that someone will walk into your apartment and be like, why do you have a carving of like what is clearly like a strange and eldritch eye just on your wall? Like, what's that all about?
Well, I think what we really need to do now is find a place to put it that will surprise someone.
I think so I was thinking about this. Here's what you do, Matt. You just put it opposite your toilet. Okay, like this is a present that we've given you, because the way that your restroom works is that, like, when you just walk in, you open the door, and so someone will not see this until they have like shut the door and then sat down to, do their business. Sure. And then bam, Eye of Agamotto, like right in your face.
I will consider that suggestion.
Don't do that. No, man. No, it's a terrible idea. So we got a bunch of great Christmas presents, and it was a delight to see everybody. We hope that your holiday festivities were equally festive. That one kind of got away from me.
No, I can dig it, man. So speaking of other things we did while we were both on Christmas break, Dave, what is our third star of the week?
So third star of the week is that we did see some movies. We saw Rogue One.
Yes, we did.
Obviously. We're not going to spend like a whole lot of time talking about it because there are many, many people who have done that.
Man, you get it. Like, people have talked about it. If you wanted to listen to a review of it or read something, you've probably done that by now. And if you're trying to avoid it, you are probably hoping that we do not spoil it right now. So we're not going to do that. But here's what I will say about Rogue One. First of all,
the movie was
2 thumbs up from me.
So good. This movie was really good.
Second of all, it really captured something that I really like about Star Wars, but it's not actually something that I like from the Star Wars movies. It is the same feel you get from like a good, like, watching Rogue One is the same feeling you get from like reading a good Star Wars like extended universe novel.
Yeah. Yes.
You know,
no, that
'cause
was
it's like-
really, that's a really good way to say that.
Because it's all or playing like the tabletop RPG during the Rebellion era, where like you're trying to have fun and like do a Star Wars thing that's like definitely Star Wars, but also like you're not allowed to play Luke Skywalker, so you need to find a different thing to do.
Right. And you can't be a Jedi. Okay, you shouldn't because whatever. But yeah, no, you're doing all of this stuff kind of it was so beautifully woven in and around all of the other Star Wars stuff. I thought it was just fantastic. It was such a great movie.
Yeah.
The other movie that we saw was not as good.
No, it was okay. Well, it was. I'm going to call it a successful movie for what it set out to do, because the other movie that we saw, rather. Sorry, listen, I'm still getting over this thing. The other movie that we saw was Assassin's Creed, which it is exactly an Assassin's Creed movie.
Yup, it was like
100% in being Assassin's Creed.
It was super exciting, like it was fun and exciting, and it was visually gorgeous, and
it was a fun experience the whole way through.
Kind of vaguely confusing.
Yeah, like at the end, it was vaguely confusing and kind of unrewarding.
So yeah, I feel like it actually captured the Assassin's Creed experience pretty perfectly. Now, at the end of the movie, because my wife was there, we all saw it together, and she said, okay, well, the cutscene is over, and I would like to play the game now. Which I think is perfect, because they did. Like, the whole movie seemed like an like the opening cutscene for the latest Assassin's Creed game, and it's like, now you can go play Assassin's Creed. But Michael Fassbender was great in it.
Oh, yeah.
There were a bunch of flips. Those dudes did so many flips. They did a bunch of flips. Crazy runs, and a dude did like a flying, like twisting, vaulty, like backflippy thing, and he like threw a knife at a dude while that thing happened, and that was really awesome. And I found out that Assassin's Creed, Matt, apparently holds the record for like longest stuntman freefall, or like at 125 feet, 12 and a half stories.
Wow.
This dude like ran. And what was weird though is that I was looking for the jump, like I was trying to find it, and I didn't see the shot in the movie. Like, it has to have been there. It just seems like if you had a dude who actually did 125-foot free fall, that you would have really made that like a prominent moment.
I think it would be hilarious if they went through all that bother, and then in the final cut of the movie, they're like, honestly, we just don't have room for this scene.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Michael Fassbender was fantastic in it. Marion Cotillard was fantastic. Jeremy Irons, I thought, was like, everybody who was in it was really good.
Oh, sure.
It's just an Assassin's Creed thing, and it's a little bit weird, but if you like Assassin's Creed, you will probably like the movie. I love Assassin's Creed, the games. I like the movie a lot.
It was a lot of fun, and they did manage to make the... If you've never played Assassin's Creed, the hook is that like there's a device called the Animus. You go into the Animus, and it lets you relive the memories of your ancestors, right? And in the video games, the Animus is just like a slightly uncomfortable couch with like a thing that goes over your face.
Right.
And they did solve the problem of that being like way boring by turning it into like this giant like danger room, basically.
That was cool. I was talking to somebody. They were like, "Oh, they changed the Animus," and I was like, "Would you really have wanted to watch this movie if the Animus was video game accurate?" It's just, it's a dumb couch. That's stupid. Dude, this version is way, way better.
Dude, I've been watching a ton of action movies recently. Are we still in like 3rd, 4th star zone? Can I just throw some?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, no, just tell what have you been doing?
Okay, so our sister is staying with me, and we both love action movies, so that's what we've sort of been doing while she's been here. I realized that she had never seen The Killer or Hard Boiled, so we watched both of those as sort of a double feature, which is...
Oh, no, that's good of you. Thank you for picking up that slack. That's really a failing on your and I's part.
Yeah.
That we didn't show those to her earlier.
Yeah, and if you've never seen those movies, watch them, and watch them in that order. Watch The Killer and then watch Hard Boiled. I have found a more satisfying experience. But another movie that we watched was Legend of Drunken Master, the old I think 94 Jackie Chan movie.
Dude, that movie is so good. I love that movie.
Dude, it's great. Listen, that is like, in my head, like early 90s Jackie Chan is like prime Jackie Chan. And that is like one of the best. But here is a thing about that movie which I found delightful. So we watched the whole movie, and at the very end of it, there's, I don't know if you recall, a scene in like a metalworking foundry thing where Jackie Chan...
Yeah, he's fighting a dude, and he's like losing, and then he gets like real drunk, which he promised he wasn't going to do, but then he did it, and then he wins, right?
Yeah. Listen, it's a Legend of the Drunken Master. He has to get drunk.
Right, dude's got to get drunk.
But he's fighting this dude whose style is kick. He's just like, it's just like very fast kicks all over the place. And it's very cool. Like, that guy is very neat. And after we finished watching that movie, Katie said, oh, there's this other great movie it's a Donnie Yen movie called Special ID from like 2013, 2014.
Okay.
That starts with this great scene with another dude who's like good at kicks. We should watch that. And so we turn it on, and like, you know, this movie came out like 20 years after Legend of Drunken Master.
Right.
It's the same kick guy. It is like the exact same actor. Like,
that's great.
Instead of being 20 years younger and kicking Jackie Chan, he's like in his like, you know, mid to late 40s and kicking Donnie Yen. It was amazing.
Dude, I have been watching Westworld, and I know like I'm a little late to this party because it's been out for a little bit, but I am now watching Westworld. And it's real good. Like, it's real good. So it's the do you know the premise of this show, Matt? Westworld? Do you know kind of what this is about?
I know there are robot cowboys. That's
there's basically okay. So what it is that like the fiction of the show is that somebody has set up like the ultimate LARP effectively with robot cowboys, and you can like go and you play a Wild West LARP, but with like robots, and you can actually shoot them and, you know, whatever, right?
Sure, it's everything you want.
Yeah, so like the story of the show is that like all the robots are like developing consciousness and like what is it and blah 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 blah. But the hilarious part to me is just how exactly they have captured the LARP experience.
Okay.
In this TV show. Like, people are showing up and they're like jerks to the NPCs, and they're like ruining the dramatic, like the moments of drama that like the plot writers have scripted in. It's like a bad guy comes out and he's about to do this like super dramatic speech after all this stuff has happened, and then a player just like shoots him in the neck and he dies. And it cuts over to the story writer, and you just see him like grit his teeth and like slap his head. This is exactly what players do. There's supposed to be a dramatic moment, and then somebody's like, no, I'm just going to kill him. And yeah. Right. So that's also a super fun show.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, there's a couple other movies that I'm super looking forward to. John Wick 2 is coming out real soon. It's coming out like February, which I did not know. I'm very excited about.
Yeah, I heard that was coming out. I have not even seen a preview for that thing.
Yeah, me neither, but I am. I'm super excited to see it. The first one was fantastic. Well, I don't know. We'll probably talk about it. But what, Matt, is our fifth and final star of the week?
The fifth star of the week, Dave, is that it's our last episode of 2016. You will be hearing it as the first episode of 2017. And so that means it is time for us to announce our new slogan / motto of the year. Of course, originally it was Up Your Game. And
2015, Up Your Game.
And then in 2016, we announced our sequel to that, Part 2, which was its 2016 Up Your Game. And listen, we do want you to continue to up your game in 2017. That's without a doubt.
That's a core priority for us here at Super Sentai Brothers Incorporated. That's one of our like prime values is game upping.
Right. However, we decided that, listen, a lot of people had sort of a rough 2016, and some people may have a rough 2017. And so we thought that it would be best, instead of reminding you to up your game all the time, to instead remind you, like the Wild Stallions taught us, be excellent to each other.
2017, just be excellent to each other.
Just give it a shot.
Just try it.
Listen, if you have the option to be excellent or to not be excellent to somebody, just be excellent to that person. That's all it is.
Yeah. Just be excellent to each other. 2017, just be excellent to each other.
And in many ways, in so doing, you will up your game. So if you missed out on that this year, you can circle back around on that in the old 2017. But now, Dave, we are going to take a break. We are going to watch episode 16 of Ninja Sentai Kakuranger, the Red Monkey's Oni Extermination. And we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. So we have just finished watching episode 16, the Red Monkey's Oni Extermination. It was rad. Very cool things happened. And now we're going to talk about it. Dave, take it away.
Okay, so if you recall from last episode, where we started off is that Sasuke, the Rangers are all captured by the Shutendoji brothers, and they are trapped in this like mystical forest by a gang of evil lady ninjas called the Kunoichigami. And they've defeated all the Rangers except Sasuke. Sasuke is on the run. They have him cornered on a bridge, and then Sasuke leaps off the bridge, but is sort of exploded as he is going down. And then that's where this episode picks up.
Yes.
So here's this amazing thing.
It seems like a bad place for Sasuke to start any sort of situation mid-fall and exploding.
Okay, here's the amazing thing about this. And I don't know if they did this on purpose or what, but it's incredible. So what happens is we pick up, and the Kunoichigami are up on the bridge, and they're like, okay, well, we have to go get Sasuke and capture him and bring him back. So they go down to the bottom of the ravine. And what they find at the bottom of the ravine is not Sasuke, but a stuffed Kakuranger, like a straw Kakuranger in Sasuke's costume.
It's like a scarecrow using Sasuke's costume.
It's a scare yokai. So what's incredible about this is that you saw everything, when you saw in the last episode Sasuke falling off the bridge and exploding, like obviously they didn't get the actor and throw him off a bridge and explode him. And so it was very obviously a dummy. Like, it was super stiff, and it was just falling in a flat line, and it was definitely not a real person. And so the fact that we get to the beginning of this episode, and it actually wasn't even supposed to be a real person, it's like, no, this is amazing. Like, this is fantastic that they've actually explained away the fact that it was definitely a dummy that they threw off of that bridge.
No, that was amazing. What else is amazing is that this show is about ninja, right? And so you would think that at some point I would get used to the fact that every time it looks like something is bad and I cannot figure out how they're going to get out of it, like, they have already gotten out of it.
It's they're fine. Everything's cool.
There's ninja tricks, and I'm just like, I am perpetually delighted by how many times they throw like weird ninja tricks to escape things. It's the best, and it continues on in this episode. There's a lot of great ninja, like classic ninja stuff in this episode.
My favorite part is how surprised we continue to be. Like, oh man, Sasuke, this looks pretty rough. It's like, no, it's ninja tricks. It's like, you got me again, Kakuranger, but I love it. So, the Kunoichigami are down there. They've realized this ninja trick, but what they also notice is that Sasuke's run away, but he is bleeding. He has left like a blood trail. So they say, okay, well, we're just going to follow this trail, and this will like lead us to Sasuke, obviously. Back to Sasuke, or not back, over to Sasuke. He's in his ninja gear. He's running along. He puts his ear to the ground, like Tonto style, and like listens for them. He hears them. He's like, oh no. They're getting close. But then when he looks down, or like when he goes to get back up, rather, he looks down and he realizes that he is leaving this blood trail.
Yeah, and so he tears off part of like, because whenever they're wearing like their ninja costumes, like their classic ninja clothes, they have like scarves and stuff like that. So he tears off part of his like red like scarf headdress thing and wraps it around his leg as sort of like a makeshift bandage.
Yes. So then he kind of is like running, and the Kunoichigami are sort of chasing. But we go from there. Oh no, this is incredible. I totally forgot about this. So we see the Kuno Ichigami, and they run across the screen, and then once they have passed, Sasuke jumps up out of the leaves behind them.
Yeah, and like not to like attack them. He's like, okay, they have left. Now I can get out of my hiding space, which was underground, and run away.
Like the degree to which they are really playing up the ninja versus ninja aspect of this conflict, that the Kuno Ichigami are crazy ninjas, and Sasuke is also a crazy ninja, and it's not really about, like, yes, they're fighting, but their fight is it's like a techniques fight. Like, this is a ninja fight. It's not about who can stab the other guy the best. It's about who can kind of get a trick over, like who can like ultra trick
who
the
can,
other
like,
one.
Ninja the other one.
Yeah, which is so great. Like, that's awesome.
And I also love this. This seems to happen every time the show gets broken down to like one or maybe two people, which is that when the whole team is together, they're just a regular Sentai team. They use kind of like ninja techniques to fight, but they're basically just like a superhero team. But when it gets down to like just Sasuke, he starts breaking out like crazy ninja stuff, and it's awesome.
Okay, so Sasuke is at least safe for the moment. This is what we know. We go from there to the abandoned factory that we know the Shuten Doji are in, and just
Sasuke
how
has, like,
hard
followed them there and is like hiding like behind some rubble as the Shuten Doji brothers are talking to the lady ninjas.
Yeah, and just how hard they have leaned into like the 90s action bad guy lair. Like, the Dorodoras are, like, walking around the outside of this factory doing patrols with, like, machine guns. But only some of them. Only some of them, because other ones of them are doing, like, okay, so, sorry, we've never mentioned this before, but whenever the Dorodoras, like, move or run around, they put their hands on the side of their head, and they do this weird sort of wobbly run, okay? And so some of the Dorodoros are rolling around like 90s bad guys with machine guns, and some of the Dorodoros are running around with their like weird loopy swords and doing like a waggly run.
I would love to have seen an animated version of Kakuranger just to see what the Dorodoros would have been like. Because I think they would have been great.
Oh, man.
Just like
I never thought about that before.
And, like, flopping all over the place.
You're right. The Dorodoros actually would have been way cooler animated than they are. Anyways.
Generally speaking, I think, there is a reason that Sentai is a live action show and not an anime. And I really like that it's a live action show. Like, I think that it is, better for the fact that it has like real actors and costumes and stuff. But very occasionally there's something that I wish I could have seen animated, and the Dorodoros, particularly in this episode, are those things. Yeah.
I was actually thinking about this the other day. Sorry, I'm just like diverging a tiny bit, but just how much I think anime has influenced our concept of what a good action scene should look like.
Oh, interesting.
Like, even in real life, like, the things that I want to see out of, like, an awesome action scene, like, I just wonder how much connection there is there.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So
Sasuke is, like, as I said, hiding behind some stuff and eavesdropping on this conversation between the Kunoichigami and the brothers. Apparently, I can only remember either the name of the brothers or the name of the lady ninjas at any given time. So right now, I remember that it's the Kunoichigami.
The Shuten Doji brothers, Matt.
Shuten Doji brothers. Thank you.
Yeah.
So they're talking, and basically the lady ninjas are saying, Sasuke is injured. He's going to try to escape, but even if he can like kind of get away, our ninja magic that we've placed in this forest is going to like continue to loop him around. So he's stuck here until we catch him. So now we just need to look around and find him.
Yes. So Sasuke, so he hears this. So he kind of now at least has an idea as to what the playing field kind of looks like. He's like, all right, well, I'm sort of stuck here, and I just have to figure out how to deal with this in a way that doesn't involve me like actually getting out of this forest, because I can't. So he looks around.
Yeah, he's one guy. He's stuck in an environment. There are people after him. All of his friends are captured, and he is going to be like sneaking around and crawling through air ducts. This episode just became like Ninja Die Hard a little bit.
Well, he is definitely about to start sneaking around in air ducts because he looks up and he says, okay. What he realizes is that there are air ducts that are directly above the rest of the Kakurangers. Okay.
Right.
So he says, odd. Like, we don't obviously see his plan, but he clearly something is going to go on here.
Right. So
the first thing he does,
he leaves, and like runs back into the woods to get back to Nekomaru, because in Nekomaru is like it's a first aid kit, but it's like a ninja first aid kit. So it's got like bandages and stuff, but also like random ninja crap, which is going to be very useful in a moment.
Yeah. So he goes and he grabs a couple of things and he goes to sneak through the vents and he gets up to the spot where he is directly above the other Rangers. And this is like his injuries are starting to catch up to him and he's kind of bleeding in the vents and he's like, oh, but you can tell he's trying to stay super, super quiet because he's up in these vents. And the Shuten Doji brothers are, in case you've forgotten, sorry, or we didn't mention it, the Rangers are tied up, no joke, maybe 10 feet away from the Shuten Doji brothers.
Yeah, and they're sitting at a table just like drinking heavily.
Yeah, so Sasuke, he can't make any noise, but he's in a ton of pain, and he's very stressed out because of all the stuff that's happening. And this is this is the most dramatic moment. Last episode when Jiraiya was like, no, run, and he runs, that's also very dramatic. But this is this is an excellent moment.
Yeah, absolutely. So do you want to take it?
Yeah, so it's just it's him, and he's up in this vent, and he's bleeding and trying to figure out how to help his friends. It's rad.
It's great. And he's also trying to maneuver around in there because he grabs some actual bandages and not just his dirty scarf. So he's trying to re-bandage himself, and he's having flashbacks of watching all of his friends get captured. And just wondering, what can I do to defeat these guys? They work so well together, I can't overpower them.
Yes. We have a quick shot of the Kunoichi Gami searching on the woods for Sasuke. We come back to Sasuke, and as he is looking at the Shuten Doji brothers, he has some sort of realization. We don't know what it is. He just says, oh, that's it. Okay. So at this point, Young Noble Jr. arrives, and he is super mad at the Shuten Doji brothers.
Right, because he let them out on the they were super duper chained up, and he let them out on the one condition that they murder the Kakurangers, and they have not delivered. Right,
so he's guys, we have a thing. You need to murder these fools. That's the deal.
He starts hitting them with his guitar. Oh, and here's some good news. Dr. Yagami is still alive.
Yes, that dude is totally around, and he has actually said, he says, listen, Young Noble Jr., I got that you're upset. I have got new weapons for the Shuten Doji brothers. So when they actually go to fight these guys, when they go to fight Sasuke, he's already injured. They're going to have these new weapons. It's not even going to be a problem. Everything's cool. Young Noble Jr. says, listen, you take the time you need. Just do the job right.
And then
but kill these four first. And then he leaves.
And as he leaves, he grabs his guitar, he turns, he starts to run away, and as he is running away, he is playing a guitar solo. So good.
It's my hope that Young Noble Jr. is just so dedicated to the idea of having a personal soundtrack that he is willing to provide it anywhere that he is. So we go back to Sasuke, and he's up in the vents, and this is what he does. This is his new plan. It's actually pretty clever. So he has a drill bit, and he is just spinning this drill bit between his fingers to drill a hole through the metal vent. Which on one hand is a really fun idea. On the other hand would take 100 years.
Well,
that would just take a really long time.
Well, it would, except, okay, I will say in this show's defense that, metal ducts are not made out of the toughest metal. We don't know what this bit is made out of. And also, he has some sort of vial of liquid that he pours onto the spot where he is drilling. And I think that might have been some kind of acid or something to help weaken it. Or at least help the drill bit catch.
Oh, no, I thought it was just oil so that it wouldn't squeak or something. Which would be very a ninja-y thing to do.
Man, I don't know. In any case,
But anyway,
he is able to drill through it like pretty quickly.
So yeah, he drills this tiny hole, and it's just above the other Rangers. And this is okay. So actually, at first, what I thought he was going to do is that it was going to like pull like a James Bond, like the ninjas from James Bond.
Dude, that was exactly what I was thinking.
Because he pulls out a string. So I assumed he was going to try and like poison the Shootin' Doji brothers. In
case
Matt,
you have
help me
not
out.
recently seen You Only Live Twice.
You Only Live Twice, that's it.
You
Thank
Only
you.
Live Twice, where a ninja breaks into the place where James Bond is staying with a lady and like is up in the rafters, lowers a string down to like just above where the girl's head is, and like drips some poison so it runs down the string and lands in her mouth. That is what we thought was going to happen.
Right. He does not do that. What he does do is lower a hacksaw blade down to the Rangers. And he sort of like dinks Tsuruhime in the head with it. And she sort of wakes up. And then she gets the other Rangers very quietly. And so she gets this hacksaw blade and she starts cutting through her ropes. Okay.
Yeah, it's very cool. It's like this spool of blade. So like he just lowers the whole thing down.
Yeah, it's pretty rad. So we go from there. We see the Kuno Ichigami. They're back at the factory. And once they arrive, we hear Sasuke's voice.
Sort of like
and
shouting,
Sasuke is
like
saying,
outside, but like they can't tell where it's coming from.
Oh, I'm over here. No, I'm over here.
And he's sort of mocking them. Like, what? You can't find me? I'm right here. Come, battle me, ladies.
And so the Shootin' Doji brothers run out. The Kuno Ichigami are there. And they're like, where's Sasuke? What's going on? And one of the Kuno Ichigami just says, oh no, he must be using the art of the cicada.
Now, you might be thinking, dear listeners, that at this point, the narrator would pop back in and say, the art of the cicada. That is a secret ninpo, which allows the ninja to, like, throw his voice and make it sound like it's coming from all the trees. He does not do that.
Nothing.
There is no explanation as to what the art of the cicada is. I assume that what it is what I just said, but really I have no way of knowing.
Yeah, and it's like she's clearly means a thing by it. Like she doesn't just say, and she's like freaked out. Oh no, he's using the art of the cicada. You couldn't just say he's using like ninja voice throwing technique or okay. Well, anyways,
nah, dude.
So,
art of the cicada.
Art of the cicada, which in any other, like, it sounds rad, despite the fact that cicadas are super gross. Like, it sounds rad, art of the cicada. But it would be nice to know, I just want to know, like, what it is. Okay, so he's using the art of the cicada, and then they sort of finally, like, they start running around the factory, and as they round one of the corners, what we see is all of the Rangers have gotten loose. They're all five together, and everybody seems to be fine now. Like nobody's hurt.
Cool. They've all somehow recovered their Doran changers, which is nice.
Yeah. So they super henge, and then the Kuno Ichigami super henge, and then Sasuke says, "Judgment time."
Yeah, he says, like, "How dare you harm my team? I will never forgive you for this."
But the way that he says "Judgment time," it's like a really intense line, right? But the way he delivers it seems to be like very casual. So they start to fight, and you know it's like Kuno Ichigami versus the Kakurangers, and the Shootin' Doji brothers are there, and some Dorodoras are there.
It's fun. It's like a nice big sort of brawl, and everyone's getting nice moments. And now that all the Kakurangers are back together, of course, they're doing much, much better, because previously when they were losing against these guys, it was partially because they had been split into two groups.
Right, Power 5. So I kind of wish we could get rid of the Batman 66 like visual style sound effects. Sometimes I would be okay if that happened. But
I like them. They, in a more serious episode like this, they do see a little out of place, but
yeah, that's kind of
whatever.
Anyways, okay. So Sasuke he ends up sort of fighting the Shootin' Doji brothers alone. And so he fights a little bit, and then he gets dropped, and they pick him up and throw him. And he says, flaming whirlwind, which is, I guess, his version of, like, rock hell or water tornado attack. And then the Shootin' Doji brothers just flaming whirlwind return, which that's just, at this point, it's just lazy. It's lazy writers. Like, come on.
Well,
you can't just be like...
Here's what I have to assume. There is not a separate technique called Flaming Whirlwind Return. They just have an ability to reflect like things that are like directed towards them.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that would make them formidable opponents and capable to kill the 100 yokai that they killed, I guess. Okay.
It is sort of a shame, although it does allow us to see all of these special attacks that we haven't actually seen yet without them just murdering the monsters and ending the episode.
Good point. Okay,
they need to showcase all those ninja tricks, Dave.
So what they do is they pull United Blade, which is their like leapfrog attack. And Sasuke is about to get hit by it, and then, dude, this might be my favorite moment of this episode. Sasuke dodges out of the way, and then he clones himself using, like, ninja clone technique, and then he does the United Blade with himself, and he uses it to attack the Shutendoji brothers. It's amazing.
It's awesome, because, like, when he clones himself, he does this, and then he clones himself like a bunch of times, and there's like 7 Sasukes just running in a circle around the Shutendoji brothers. So like, how do you guys like it? Like, now I'm teaming up on you, which is the real me. And they're like flipping around at them and like disorienting them. And eventually the real Sasuke like jumps through and does like an extra attack to stun them.
Okay, and then he drops Full Moon Cut, which is like his kind of neat special attack. The Shutendoji brothers go down, the other Rangers show up, and then the Shutendoji brothers are like, well, we will crush you with our giantism. So they become giant, and then the Kakurangers summon the Beast General Fighters, and then they manage to merge with them, which, like, Kuno Ichigami, you guys had literally one job. Young Noble Jr. last episode was like, whatever you do, you cannot let these dudes summon their giant robots, because that's it. Like, if they summon the giant robots, game over. Kuno Ichigami falling down on the job.
Yeah, and I mean, spoiler, it's over. Like, we will continue to tell you what is going to happen, right. But it is not going to go well for these bros.
Yeah, so it actually, it goes pretty well at first, because we find out what the secret weapon that Dr. Yagami has built for them, and it's basically like power armor, not like a full suit, but they've got like leg braces, like greaves, right? They've got like greaves and then like bracers and some shoulder pads. And the elder brother has like a giant drill arm, and then the younger brother has a buzzsaw arm. It's amazing.
When you say shoulder pads, the shoulder pads are also buzzsaw, like Road Warrior style, like buzzsaw shoulder pads. I forgot
about that. Okay, so they start fighting. At first, the Kakurangers are losing. Like, things are going poorly for them, until it's eventually just Sasuke. So everybody else is down. Sasuke's the last man up. He gets grabbed from behind by the younger of the Shutendoji brothers, and the older, which is the one with the drill arm, is running at him like about to drill him to death, I guess.
Which is, pretty bad.
As ways to die go. I guess being drilled to death is kind of a rough one.
So, but Sasuke, at the very last moment, is able to, like, reposition himself and get away. But the elder of the Shutendoji brothers has already attacked. And so instead of attacking Sasuke, he ends up attacking his brother and, like, drilling him straight through the chest.
Okay, like, even though the Shutendoji brothers are bad guys, because I have a brother with whom I'm very close, I'm a little...
Oh, yeah.
I'm a little sympathetic for the Shutendoji. Right, he's like, oh, man, killed your brother. That's rough, man. I feel bad for these guys. But they are... terrible yokai monsters.
Oh, sure, yeah. I mean, listen, they're super murderers.
So then the Kakurangers, they ditch the Beast General Fighters, and they summon the Great Beast Generals, and then they turn into Muteki Shogun, and then it's over.
Yeah, they're like, now we will show you the real power of teamwork, and the real power of teamwork is a flaming sword the size of a building. And again, Muteki Shogun takes out both of these dudes with literally one shot. Like, one swipe, both dudes go down. Still, nothing has even come close to scratching Muteki Shogun. Like, as soon as that dude shows up, there's no longer a fight. It's just like they form Muteki Shogun and you die. It's pretty wonderful.
So, yeah, that's basically it. We go back to it's the next day. The Rangers are back in Nekomaru. They're kind of back on the right track to get to that next town that just Just needs those crepes.
So they get to the intersection where they had previously taken a wrong turn, because if you remember, the lady ninjas had like done some magic to like turn the sign to point them the wrong direction. So they get back to that intersection, and now they're taking the correct turn, and they're able to leave, and they all hop out of Nekomaru to like celebrate getting out of the woods.
Hooray! And so Tsuruhime says, listen, this is a very obvious weakness on our part. These dudes were like way better than us. We barely made it out. So we are going to start training every day. And everybody, the remaining 3 dudes except Sasuke, react like kindergartners.
Yeah, like the first time a child is told that they will have homework, and they just like are trying to comprehend, like you like really struggle against like the weight of what that means for their life. That is the reaction that these 3 Kakurangers have. Jiraiya goes so far as to like aw shucks, like kick a stone that is at his foot, which conveniently flies out, hits the sign that had previously been turned around, and knocks it back into its correct position.
Yeah. So then, okay, so that's pretty much it for them. Last scene is we see young Noble Jr. He is sitting at the piano, and he is playing some sort of lovely classical music. And he is looking over at the Kunoichigami, and he says, listen, this is no good. Like, we have got to defeat the Kakurangers. Don't worry about it, though. You guys did a good job. And the Kunoichigami is sort of like, yes, no, like, next time we'll get him. And I'm surprised by young Noble Jr.'s chill at this point. Because young Noble Jr. is a lot of things, but like a relaxed and understanding boss, he is not.
No, but he's saying, listen, there's a lot of other strong yokai that we can throw at them. Like, I don't need you to chase after the Kakurangers right now, because I've got other people sort of like, in the reserve. So let's try them. You guys just chill for a bit. And they all smile and sort of circle around his piano bench. And then young Noble Jr. snaps his fingers. and I'm sorry.
He turns them into cats.
Okay, this is what I don't understand. So he snaps his fingers and they all turn into cats. Is he transforming lady ninjas into cats, or had he previously transformed cats into lady ninjas?
Dude, that is a really excellent question, and it is not clear at all what the correct answer to it is.
There's a lot of mystery. I mean, listen, there ought to be mystery. These are ninja. That is their stock and trade.
Yeah. Also, it is not clear if he is actually saying take a break, and that somehow being a cat is a break for them, or if it's just, or if he was like lying and this is a punishment to turn them into cats. I don't know,
because the cats seem pretty happy to be cats. Like, they don't then like run away and cower. They're like chilling and cuddling with him. And then he picks one up and he starts like laughing and talking about how he's going to murder the Kakurangers. But then, as is his wont, he transforms into that Rito Revolto like half like army skeleton look. But he's still holding the cat, so you just get like this giant horrifying army skeleton like cradling this like adorable cat while laughing about murdering the Kakurangers, and that is how this episode ends.
So Kakurangers really pick it up. Feeling real good about it.
Yeah, dude. This train is a rollin'. Okay,
so Creature Royale, man, where do the Shuten Doji brothers fall on this list? I'm a real big fan. I think they look super cool. I love their whole jam where they just want to like hang out and fight and drink sake with each other. They're pretty effective. Like, they do a pretty good job of taking the Rangers out, I would say.
Okay, so here's I think a good starting place. Do you think the Shuten Doji brothers are better or worse than the 3 priestesses, like the 3 jewelry priestesses from Ranger?
I like them a lot better, actually.
Okay, a lot better. So how much higher are you looking?
Man,
better than Oborogumara?
Yeah, definitely better than Oborogumara. definitely, I think, cooler than Kukigan, the disease monster from a couple episodes ago.
Kukigan. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I like that guy, but these guys are probably cool. Okay, so is he... do you want to put him just above that? Or do you think he... Because just above that is Iron Mask Choryu.
Yeah, man. Iron Mask Choryu, he's like a tough nut to crack. Like, he's a strong defender at that slot 13. Because no, I don't think they're cooler than Iron Mask Choryu. He's like... Those episodes of Tai Ranger are so good. He's like Chinese Kung Fu Darth Vader.
The thing
that's
about,
rad, dude.
Yeah, the thing about Iron Mask Choryu is I feel like Iron Mask Choryu is the lowest guy on the list who is like an important like monster character. Like above Iron Mask Choryu, you've either got like people who are like very important to the series, like
Heatwave Hood or
you know, like Jin the Demon Fist, or you have people that are just like undeniably cool,
right?
Or to have like, you know, like weird crazy episodes like Kabuki Nova's. Like he became a robot guy. I love that he became a robot with Kabuki wig. That's not like an important episode, amazing. But I love it. So like you really need to bring the heat if you're gonna get above Iron Mask Choryu, and I think these guys almost make it.
Yeah, but not quite. So Shutendoji Brothers in at slot 14 in the Creature Royale.
And I think...
And Matt,
yeah.
It's going to do it for us.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to this 16th episode of A View to a Kakuranger. But that's going to do it for us this week. Before we finish up here, I want to remind you all you can email the show at supersentaibrothers@gmail.com. You want to get any updates on future episodes or check out the things that we are talking about on Twitter, we are at Super Sentai Bros. If you like the show, please remember shining in the iTunes review section. There are 5 stars. Rate, review, subscribe on iTunes. That's what's going to help new people find the show. Super Sentai Brothers are a production of Retrograde Orbit Radio. If you want to listen to any of the other great Retrograde Orbit Radio shows, you can find them all at retrogradeorbitradio.com. Once again, we're the Super Sentai Brothers. I'm Matt.
I'm Dave.
Have a Happy New Year, everybody. And
be excellent to each other.
Be excellent to each other.